Is there such a word as foresitter in English? Can I use it instead of chairman? Is there such a word as foresitter in English? Can I use it instead of chairman? In Russian there are two words, president, borrowed from Latin, meaning president, and native Slavic predsedatel, meaning chairman. In their structure both words mean the one who sits in front. But in English chairman sounds weird and disrespectful. So many foreign offices are translated as president, which is very confusing. Chairman of the Presidium of the Supreme Council of the USSR, for instance, has been translated as president or premier at times. Chairman of the People's Republic of China recently switched to being translated as president of China, etc. Note that in the Chinese language the word for president is different from the title of their head of state, and they officially translate the office name into Russian as predsedatel, not as president. So, my question is, would it not be better and more understandable if such offices were translated as foresitter? Would it look uneducated?
Foresitter would be almost incomprehensible to native speakers. There is a word foreman that could be used to translate a term for one who is in charge if you do not want to use chairman or president. I do not, however, think it would be a good translation of political titles, because of the lowly connotations. A foreman usually receives instructions and translates them into work for others, sometimes, as in jury foreman representing his group to other authorities.
In the vast majority of cases, chair, man, woman, person is the best, even the only, word to use. There are sometimes alternatives. You should consult a good dictionary, or two, the second being English-Russian, for their exact meanings and uses. These include president, presiding officer, secretary, though the other meanings of this are much more common without a qualifier, so it's best avoided unless the position has been given that title in English. You also have to consider the contrasting roles in the organization. In some cases much of the chair's role is carried out by the speaker. A generic leader could also work in some cases. In some cases English uses the closest word to the real title. We refer to the German Chancellor. Foresitter is a direct translation that has no meaning in English. Other words starting for or front aren't much help either. It's rarely, possibly even never, wrong to use a long form such as Chairman of the Presiding Council, which might guide you if you really need to avoid ambiguity in the title itself rather than just by context.
To add to the other excellent answers, in some contexts, head may be appropriate in conjunction with what the person is head of, e.g. committee head, heads of government often used when describing a group including differing titles, and of course, as you yourself mentioned in the question, head of state.
Contrary to the original poster's assumptions, chairman and chairwoman do not sound weird or disrespectful to my American ear. On the contrary, these words suggest a person chosen, often by their fellow committee members, to control the flow of the committee's meetings. The chairman or chairwoman usually has a gavel, which they can bang to indicate that a meeting has started or ended, or that a decision has been made and it is time to move on. Gavels are also used by judges and speakers of houses of parliaments, which are similarly prestigious positions. Foresitter is not an English word. My spell checker does not recognize it, nor do any of the online dictionaries I checked. Foresitter has some inappropriate connotations. For is the first syllable in forelegs, the front legs of four-legged animals. For is the first syllable in foreplay, things people do before having sex. Sitter is often short for babysitter, someone who tends babies, or supervises children when their parents are not around, but
Willkommen zurück, Channel. Please select and